Welcome to the Nerd Corner, the corner internet where we like to nerd out. I am Bradley, better known as Everyday Geek. This is my good friend Cooper, better known as Force. And today we're talking San Diego Comic-Con. The past weekend we just had the
Yes.
San Diego Comic-Con. We had a bunch of
Finally.
announcements, some surprising stuff that was announced that we didn't expect, some things that we did expect. There is a lot to talk about. I'm very excited to talk about everything that we saw.
Yeah.
How
I'm very excited because we got so much more than what we were anticipating for this panel because, going into it, if you guys watched the last episode, we were just like we just got the trailer for Doomsday, we just got the trailer, like the final trailer for Spider-Man. It's like, what are we doing? Like how do we go from here? And then they announced some crazy shit, which we're going to get into, I guess. It's wild.
It is wild, and I think we should honestly start with just the Marvel panel in itself, because while there wasn't a whole lot announced, there was some big stuff announced that genuinely
Oh yeah.
surprised us. Can I ask the first question, just because I've seen some stuff on the internet, how did you feel about the Marvel panel? I've seen some people be very excited about it, some people feel a bit
I
disappointed by it, so what do you feel about it?
I'm anything but disappointed in it. I am not disappointed in it at all because I mean, just like I said, I was very skeptical of it in the first place, just because of like, oh, what can they really announce? We're in the Doomsday Secret Wars phase. We're not really we're not really supposed to know too much right now because we're just in the big films at the end of the phase. But then they announced fucking Ghost Rider and Black Panther 3, and it's like, whoa, hello. And then they dropped the trailer at SDCC or the second trailer for Doomsday, and I'm just blown away because it's just like, was not expecting all this to happen already, and we just got way more than we were looking for.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
I'm the
I
same.
I was excited. I was excited.
I'm the same as you. Like, there wasn't a whole lot announced, but like I said, what was announced was pretty big. I think some people were just expecting some more announcements, maybe some like a Vision Quest trailer or maybe some other projects announced. But do keep in mind, next month in August is D23, so
That is
there might
true.
be they might be holding back some stuff for D23, which I imagine will get the Vision Quest trailer there. We might get some other announcements. We don't know yet, but I'm not disappointed by what was announced. It was, like I said, not a lot, but what was announced was pretty big. We should probably,
I'm assuming the reason why that they announce all the big stuff now rather than follow up on what we already knew is because I think SDCC is a much bigger event than
yes.
D23. So they're like, oh, we're gonna use this big platform to announce Ghost Rider and Black Panther. It's like these are two huge movies. Um, this is the best platform to do it. We'll just follow up on the rest of the stuff during D23. It just makes the most sense.
Yeah. But what was shown, let's just kind of go through the Marvel panel, what was shown. First of all, there was a brand new clip for Spider-Man Brand New Day, but I don't really want to bother talking about it, only because we're
I
like
didn't watch
literally,
it just because I'm trying to cut down on watching some stuff regarding Brand New Day right now. I did, we saw um what was it?
there
Was it
was a
Kid
leak.
Cudi?
I think it was. There was a leak last night. Something got major spoiled, which you won't say here, but something big did get
Oh,
spoiled.
Steve Lacy, that's what it was. Steve
Yeah,
Lacy leaked something, and we're like, what the fuck?
can't believe that
Um,
that leaked. But we won't say what it is. But be warned, there are big spoilers out there right now because obviously the
there's a big
premiere
spoiler out right
was,
now.
yeah,
But let's be honest, we all expected it.
yeah,
We all expected it. It doesn't change my thoughts on the film in the slightest. I
no,
expected it and I was ready for it.
yeah. But there was like a clip shown at San Diego Comic Con. Like I said, it's no point re-talking about it, only because at the time of us recording this, the premiere was yesterday, and the film is literally coming out in like 3 days anyway. So we'll probably end up talking about the film itself in a future podcast coming very soon.
Very
So
soon.
keep an eye out
Very
on the
soon.
channel for that. But then
Keep an
jump
eye
on
out during
to,
like the beginning of August because it's gonna be way too soon
yeah,
for us to watch it.
oh yeah. But moving in on to Doomsday, they did have Herbie come out. I don't know if you saw the clip of that at
I did not.
Comic.
I did not see Herbie come out.
It wasn't because we at the time San Diego Comic Con was happening. We were busy recording other stuff, so we were just keeping up on our phones, like announcements. So there was a lot of like catch up we had to do afterwards, like little things. But there was like a clip of like Herbie came out, said hello to the crowd, and then they brought on the Doomsday cast, which was like everyone that we kind
Mhm.
of know so far. But there was one big surprise that Uh,
Yeah, fucking Ryan Reynolds popping in out of nowhere in the gray Deadpool outfit and goes, "Hey, when did you guys film this? Because like, where the fuck am I?" It's like it's so satire, and I think they're using it as a fake out because I'm pretty sure he's gonna appear in this film in some capacity.
yeah, I think it's don't get me wrong. What he did was very Ryan Reynolds thing to do, and I don't know if you saw. He was going around the Comic Con in the Deadpool suit, so everyone was taking pictures with him, thinking he was just a
Mhm.
cool Deadpool
He
cosplay.
made a very sweet post on Instagram about it too. He felt
Yeah,
so happy to be there.
but yeah, it was so funny, and this he's not the first celebrity to do this. We've seen plenty of celebrities go around in costume, as their character. People taking pictures with them, unaware that it's them. But it's no exception with Ryan Reynolds. It was very cool, very sweet. But you do think now he is going to be in Doomsday in some capacity?
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I have a feeling
We
they
we
wouldn't just bring him out just to bring him out, but you know.
yeah. We did mention when we did the Doomsday in the last video, we said it's a possibility maybe Deadpool could appear uh in this. I am going to say this now, and I think this is very important, and I think it's also a bit of a warning for everyone out there. Obviously, we had the Doomsday trailer a couple of days ago now. We had a new trailer at San Diego Comic Con. We've had Ryan Reynolds come out as Deadpool. Supposedly, there is a plot leak for Avengers Doomsday going around. Now, normally I don't pay these things any attention because I swear that with every Marvel movie, there's always some kind of plot leak, and 99% of them turn to be complete bollocks, nothing like the actual film. But there
Yeah.
is a plot leak out there. I haven't seen it because I don't want potential spoilers. But I've seen people quote tweet like the trailer, the Ryan Reynolds showing up saying, "Yeah, this is lining up with the supposed plot leak." So I don't know if the plot leak that is going around is real or not. I don't want to
I
check it
did
out.
not
Don't
I
risk
haven't
spoil.
seen the plot leak, so I have
No,
no idea.
I haven't seen it either. I just know there is one supposedly going around. Like a document of what's going to happen. So if you don't want spoilers, just be aware of that. Again, it could end up being fake. I don't know, but the fact I've seen so many people who have seen
Mhm.
the leak saying that what's been advertised, round showing up, what's shown in the new
Just
trailer.
if you if
Yeah,
you wanna be surprised still when you go in to see the film, just, like, be careful when you're looking at leaks out there. I mean, me and Geeky, I think the only leak for this film that we've seen so far, you've seen the Sentinel fight, right? Because I haven't.
yeah, yeah. I saw
Like, the
Sentinel
Sentinel
fight.
leak, and we saw the trailer that got leaked at SDCC. We did watch that, um, but we're not gonna look into much else. We don't want any spoilers for the film. We wanna be surprised when we go into it, and we encourage you guys to do the same. Leaks can be very dangerous to a film's performance and can be very dangerous to the overall outcome of a film's view. So just be careful when you're out there and you're looking for, information on a film because you could just get it completely ruined for you in some capacity. So just be careful. That's all we
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we watched the San Diego Comic Con just because that was something that was Marvel officially kind of shown to the public, not the broader public, but people in attendance at San Diego Comic Con. So we didn't mind seeing that, but like plot leaks, character leaks, this character's returning. I tend to kind of avoid this stuff because it's gonna fall under two categories. It's gonna be A, it's fake and it's not happening, and what's the point of being talking about it if it's not real? Or B, it is real and I've just had something major spoiled for me. So I tend to stay away from kind of all leaks like that. So if look if you want to
At
look
least
at
as
a
much
leak,
as we can.
yeah, like sometimes things come across my timeline that like because obviously I'm a Marvel fan, I'm always looking at like Marvel artworks, Marvel cosplays, Marvel comics, and just other clips from like actual movies coming out. But sometimes because of that, leaks find their way onto my timeline. I tend to not pay them much attention. And I imagine it's the same with you. If you're on social media, like it's kind
Yeah,
of
I try to avoid Twitter whenever a lot of new stuff comes out. Whenever Comic Con was happening, whenever stuff like that was happening, the only two accounts that I was looking at the time was Discussing Film and Daniel RPK. Those are the only
yeah.
things I really paid attention to. And even with Daniel RPK, I tried to be a little bit,
Yeah,
because
funny enough.
he's known to be kind of a leaker in a sense, but I was only really looking for the trailer for the film since
Yeah,
everyone else was already looking at it. So
you,
one thing
you
I will say I'm
mentioned.
excited that they announced about Doomsday is that there is history between the Fantastic Four and Doom.
Oh yeah,
I don't exactly know what that means. I'm pretty sure it's a rivalry of some kind, but still pretty cool development, and it makes a lot more sense because like Doom is always tied to the Fantastic Four. So
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
people were really worried that the rivalry was going between Doom and Steve, and they could still have something in the film. We don't know yet, but at least we have some kind of confirmation that there is the rivalry between Doom and the Fantastic Four, because that's, like I said, Doom has always been connected to the Fantastic Four in the comics. I think it's very important to keep that rivalry. I would have been very worried if they didn't have any rivalry of some capacity. I would have
yeah.
been like disappointed. Can I say, because we were just talking about leaks, and you said you were looking at Daniel RPK, he did kind of spoil one big surprise at Comic Con.
Did
I
he?
don't know if I don't know if you were able to avoid it. I'm guessing you did, but I was able to avoid it as well. But obviously, one of the big surprises at Comic Con, a Ghost Rider film is happening with Ryan
That's
Gosling,
right. Yeah, yeah.
and
That's fucking
hold on,
huge.
hold on. Daniel RPK spoiled it beforehand that Ryan Gosling was going to be there with Marvel.
You just spoiled that he was there.
Yeah, I think I haven't seen the actual tweet, but apparently he had to put an apology saying, "Look, I'm sorry I spoiled this for you guys."
Did he
But
really? Oh
yeah,
no. See,
So
when I was looking at both films, I checked RPK's Twitter one time, didn't see anything, and then I ducked out. I went back to
yeah,
discussing film. So yeah,
you avoided
I
that,
actually
but
want to talk about Ghost Rider because there's a lot of there's skepticism, but there's also a lot of hype I have around it. Um, Ryan Gosling as Johnny Blaze, peak casting. I gotta admit. I know it's a very obvious and it's like, oh, one of the top 10 Hollywood actors right now. But he genuinely likes his character. We've seen it in interviews. He has genuine enjoyment for looking into this character. So when he was announced to be Ghost Rider, I was like, oh shit, I'm actually down with this. But
he has been.
at the same time, I'm a little skeptical with Sean Levy directing. And there's a reason for that. I will say, Sean Levy can be an amazing director. He did some of the best episodes in Stranger Things. He did Deadpool 2 and Deadpool Wolverine. But I will say, in Deadpool Wolverine, some of the writing include a lot of plot holes and stuff. And I'm also a little worried about how he's going to handle Ghost Rider simply because I'm worried that he's going to try to do Deadpool Wolverine again and make it just too funny. Which
To comedy.
even if he does, we'd still get a slightly lighthearted take on Ghost Rider, and Ryan Gosling can be a funny actor. He really can be.
Oh yeah,
But it's also like I don't want them to get carried away because then we'd have another Love and Thunder situation on our hands.
yeah.
Because Thor was practically ruined with that film, and that's the last thing I want with Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Yeah,
That being said, I'm not saying Sean Levy is Taika Waititi at all. I do not think that in the slightest. But I still want people to be careful because this is
I
such a precious character to so many fans.
I am very excited with Ryan Gosling because, as you said, as an actor, he can do very funny stuff. Like we've seen him in Barbie, we've seen him in is it Fall Guys, the stunt show?
The Fall Guy. He's going to be in a
Yeah,
Star Wars film soon. He's
but
gonna.
he
He's
can
got a
do
lot of big roles right now.
yeah, but he can do very serious acting as well. We saw him, if you've seen Drive, great film. He can do very serious. So he can bring the comedy, he can bring the seriness. It's just going to be down to how the character is written. Because I think no matter what, Ryan Gosling is going to deliver on the performance. It's just which way the performance is going to go with how it's written. Will it be more comedy? Will it be more serious? I'm over this more serious with a bit of comedy because it's still Marvel and they do always try to throw out,
I hope
puns,
it's serious
jokes.
with tasteful comedy. That's what I mean. Like I want it
Yeah.
to be. I want it to be comedy that's just enough to like lighten the mood, just enough, but not enough to distract you from the plot line. That's it. Um, and Ryan, like we said, he can do serious roles. Drive, I've seen some clips of that, so I know what you're talking about. Project Hail Mary, he had some, amazing acting in that. He's just all around a great actor.
Yeah.
And, I think knowing that he knows this character is very comforting. And I haven't seen Supergirl yet, but this is basically another Lobo situation. It's like Jason Momoa, fucking huge actor, playing Lobo. That's just right. It's just the objectively correct casting. And unfortunately, that also falls down to Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider. I say unfortunately because he's, such a huge actor. It's gonna be like, oh, they're paying him all the money. They're not gonna have any budget for the film. It's more like it's just as cool as it would be to get an unrecognizable character. Ryan Gosling just makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, I'm more like, I wouldn't say flat out unknown actors, but Ryan Gosling is already a big Hollywood name. Everyone knows Ryan Gosling, so it's kind of
Mhm.
surprised that we got like a big actor to play a big character rather than like, especially because I imagine if we're gonna have Ghost Rider, I don't imagine he's obviously gonna be in every Marvel project, but they obviously want to tie him down for like the franchise for a few films or some other appearances elsewhere. So it is kind of surprising that they've got a big actor rather than a lesser known actor. But I'm not complaining about Ryan Gosling. I love Ryan Gosling. He's a
Oh, no
terrific
way.
actor. I'm very excited to see what he'll do. And it also kind of it is also funny because in real life he's married to is it
You
Eva
pointed this out to
Mendes?
me, yeah.
Yeah, and she was in the very first Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. I don't think she was in the
Yeah,
second one, but I know she was in
what
the
was her name?
first.
Eva Mendes, is that the right one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah, because she she was in the Nick Cage one. Is she gonna be in this one too? Or is she just like connected in that weird, funny
yeah.
way?
That's a very funny coincidence, but I mean, it's so funny to have like an actual Hollywood couple who have both been in Ghost Rider but separate Ghost Riders. By the way, can I just say, just
Mm.
a bit off topic, I'll throw it out there because why not? Because obviously Nick Cage is a big comic book guy. Obviously, he's been in a lot of stuff, Spy Noir. He kinda was Superman, not really, but you know what I'm referencing with the Flash film.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Thing is
say
that
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 since
film could have been so cool. Well,
yeah, but I will say this, he was Ghost Rider. I wouldn't mind if his version of Ghost Rider made a cameo in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. Just like a final appearance before,
mhm.
obviously, Ryan Gosling. But also, well, I think it's a nice way to obviously bring back a past incarnation of a character, but also introducing people to the character of Ghost Rider because Ghost Rider, he's obviously had the two films with Nicolas Cage. He was obviously in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I know a lot of people may not have seen the television side of stuff
Mhm.
when it comes to. So it might be a nice way to like have the best of both worlds, like get people excited, being like, "Oh my god, it's Ghost Rider! We're gonna get a film with him in 2028." So get some hype around it because Secret Wars is coming out in 2027, a year before, and also then for people like me who did watch those films, being like, "Oh, cool, Nick Cage, Ghost Rider." Regardless of what you think of those films, it'd be nice to have like a fun cameo by him one last time for like a pass of the mantle type situation.
Yeah, something I will mention is that this further proves that I think Agent Shields is dead in the ground as whether it's canon to the MCU or not,
Yeah.
because they had Ghost Rider in that show. Definitely not the same Ghost Rider now. Probably not canon. Probably not canon.
Who knows? Who knows what they'll do?
Who
It's
knows?
Marvel. Obviously, keep in mind, Secret Wars might kind of reboot the timeline in some
Mhm.
capacity. Not massively. I don't think it's going to flat
Because
out a
this
new
is
universe,
dropping
but
after Secret Wars, right?
yeah, both this and Black Panther,
Uh,
excuse me, are coming out in 2028. That's the
Yeah,
only
in
big,
2028.
yeah. So this will be after
Yeah.
Secret Wars, which is in 2027. Unless Secret Wars gets pushed back or delayed to 2028.
Mhm.
Well, I imagine these will still come out after as well. Actually, while we're talking about Doomsday and Secret Wars, I have to try and find the quote, but I think Kevin Feige has confirmed that there'll be no films between Doomsday and Secret Wars. We'll still get Born Again season 3 with the on
Mm.
Disney Plus, but I don't think there's gonna be any major films. So people were wondering, are we gonna get anything between them? No, it seems like when Doomsday ends, apart from like Daredevil, you're gonna have to wait a year until we get something major from Marvel. MCU
Which kinda
wise
sucks
anyway.
because like, I really wish we got maybe, like, a 3rd Doctor Strange film that has to do with the incursion stuff, or at least I hope that he appears in this film. Or
Yeah.
at least in this film or in Secret Wars in some capacity, because it's like, they set it up with Clea and him, it's just like, why is he not there? Why don't we
I,
have Doctor Strange in the mix?
I think who knows? They might surprise us at D23 with some kind of announcement, but I'm not getting my hopes up for anything major.
They
We'll still
dropped
probably
the
end up.
cat they dropped the cast for for Secret Wars immediately after.
I'm not getting my hopes up, but if there are some major announcements at D23, not just Marvel, but other like films and that as well from Disney, we might end up talking about it. We'll have to wait and see what is announced and if there's stuff worthy of talking about. But the other announcement, aside from Ghost Rider, which was the big surprise to me, because like Jenny was not expecting it, something I
Mhm.
was kind of expecting was Black Panther. I had a feeling we were going to get some kind of announcement, but we did get a major reveal with the Black Panther announcement. That's kind of caused some a bit of confusion online. We are
Yeah.
getting a new Black Panther. T'Challa's son now is going to be
T'Challa's son, who is also named T'Challa.
Hello.
Let's make it clear. This was revealed technically at the end of Wakanda Forever. This was revealed. We knew that this character already existed. But after Secret Wars, they are going to find a way to make it maybe like a time jump or like an alternation in the timeline or whatever, where he is now older and is already about to fill the shoes of Black Panther. So they're already jumping ahead quite a bit. We might either get a time jump with Secret Wars, or we're going to just get a timeline alteration of some kind. Also, the casting. Holy shit, that's a good poll. It's a really good poll for T'Challa.
Remind me of the actor's name. I do know it, but it's like on the tip of my tongue.
David Johnson. David Johnson.
Thank you. I was like saying, is it David Jameson? No, David Johnson.
David Johnson. He played. For those of you who don't know him, he played. I don't remember his name, but he played the guy in The Long Walk, and he was by far the best part of that film for me. I think that was his performance makes me so excited to see what he can do as Black Panther. Apparently, they casted this motherfucker.
Yeah, I was about to mention.
He's been casted. He's been in the part.
I was going to say they had casted him like 6 months ago. But how long ago did The Long Walk come out? It wasn't all that long. It was like 8 months ago, wasn't it?
It wasn't that long ago. I think it was still a little under a year ago.
Yeah, so it was like he did that, and then boom, suddenly you're cast as Black Panther in the MCU. That must have been a long 6 months for him.
Yeah, Ryan Coogler was like, "This motherfucker good. This motherfucker know what he doing."
And he is a good actor. And I'm thinking 6 months, like you've been cast as Black Panther, you had to sit on that for 6 months because like there wasn't any leaks or rumors or anything. In fact, there were rumors about another actor. I forgot the actor's name. He was in the F1 movie. You know who I'm talking
about? Damson Idris, I think.
Thank you. There was rumors about him playing Black Panther, and he even kind of joked about it, but
which is a little confusing because there was concept art leak for Doomsday forever ago. Do you remember this? From like
Doomsday was like original. Wars?
I think it was for Doomsday. It was like a completely different draft of the film because I'm gonna doubt that we're gonna get a lot of these photos now. Brought to the screen.
Yeah.
It included things like She-Hulk, different version of Hulk, just like all sorts of different things. Vision.
The Young Avengers.
But one of them was a picture of Damson Idris in the costume of Black Panther, like a really different looking costume for Black Panther. But you could tell that, he was at least thought of for the film. But then they went with David Johnson, which is like, a lot of people are like, that's a little weird. Why would they go back on it? But I'm honestly more excited for it. I'm not going to lie. I'm very intrigued, and I think I trust Ryan Coogler more than I trust a lot of the fans of this franchise. Because Ryan Coogler has no doubt proven to be one of the best directors of this entire franchise. And especially as of recently. Sinners was amazing. So,
yeah.
I'm excited.
It is going to be interesting to see how, obviously, it could be a time jump, could be a multiversal shenanigan, because obviously T'Challa's son, who's also called T'Challa, was about 8 or 9 years old in the end of Black Panther.
Something like that.
Which was set in 2025. I think that's the timeline. Anyway, it gets a bit confusing with the timeline because we had the big 5-year blip and now we're all playing catch up. Obviously, we had the 14 months thanks to the Thunderbolt. So it's a bit like, well, we're in the timeline, but he was kind of young. And now we got David Johnson, who I think he's about 32 now, the actual actor.
Is he? I thought he was younger.
He might be. I think he's about 32. I could be wrong.
Up. Keep talking. I'm going to look this up.
Yeah. If he is about 32, but keep in mind, even if he is about, say, 30, the actors can still play younger. They can always play, early 20s, even if they're pushing 30,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I am right on the age thing. I hope I am.
Hold up, I looked up David Johnson about some fuck-ass football player.
I did the same. I did the same thing when I looked him up. I'm pretty sure he's 32.
Yeah, he's 32. What the hell?
Yeah.
He looks good for his age. Wow.
Yeah, but like I said, even though he is 32, he could easily pass early 20s. So there's gonna have to explain some kind of 11-year age gap between Black Panther 2 and Black Panther 3. But obviously, we don't know what's gonna happen with the Doomsday. The multiverse.
I'm guessing he's gonna be playing slightly younger, though. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
I think How old was Chadwick when he passed? He was, I think, in his 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he definitely was not that old
No.
in Black Panther. So they're probably going to do a similar thing because he looks like he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
So
A lot. That's why the age thing surprised you. I was surprised. I thought he was like early 20s. No, he's
I was like, what the
32.
fuck?
I will ask
But
this
hey,
though.
man, that just shows more experience.
I
Still
want to
got me
ask you
hyped.
this. I want to ask you this though, because I think it's very important to discuss. Because obviously we know the circumstances with unfortunately Chadwick passing away, why the mantle's then passed on to Shuri. Obviously now the
Mhm.
mantle's being passed on to T'Challa's son, which I feel like was obviously set up for the post-credit scene for down the road. How do you feel about them doing for the third film, getting a new Black Panther with T'Challa's son and potentially taking this Black Panther away from Shuri? Or do you think we'll have two Black Panthers, Shuri and then T'Challa's son? What do you think they're gonna, do with that?
Here's what I think. Because I think if I'm remembering correctly, in Wakanda Forever, Shuri didn't exactly want to be Black Panther.
No.
She really didn't. She didn't feel like she fit. And so I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it seem like Shuri is keeping the seat warm for the next king. So I think they're kind of using her as like a bit of like a placeholder, but still an honorary Black Panther just
Yeah.
for the time being until we get someone else in the shoes, which now we know who it's going to be. Obviously, it's going to be T'Challa. Um, but yeah, I'd also like to mention when with the initial passing of Chadwick Boseman, Marvel immediately jumped out and said, out of respect, we're never going to recast T'Challa, which
No.
unfortunately meant that they broke it off into all the other types of Marvel media that weren't connected to the MCU, and we didn't get T'Challa as Black Panther for a while. We didn't see much of it, which is why I don't think they really dropped the Black Panther game. Didn't that get canceled?
The is it the 1942 one with like Captain
No, no, no.
America?
That one I think they're still making, but the other one that was just being developed by EA, I think they canceled that.
I can't remember. I don't know if is it. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
but
been
like I
cancelled.
remember, I'm pretty sure a lot of like the reason it took so long is because they were trying to figure out what to do. It's like, is
Yeah.
this gonna be T'Challa or is this gonna be someone else? It's just it was really frustrating for a while because sure, Chadwick Boseman, one of the best actors in the MCU, with the tragedy of his passing, it unfortunately meant Marvel just wasn't ready for some reason to have someone else step into his shoes, which is
Yeah.
big shoes to fill, but they left that character lingering for so long. And I'm kind of glad that they found their loophole to that saying by, having T'Challa's son also be T'Challa.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like I'm just glad that they're finally stepping in, being like, okay, it's been long enough. T'Challa needs to have a presence in some way. So
Yeah. This
yeah.
is like
Well, also this is
their
great as
workaround.
well. This is great as well because the way that they sent off Chadwick Boseman's character, even though the character
It was on.
didn't technically show up at
Yeah.
all, it was still so nice how they honored him, and I'm so glad they're not trying to find a way to tarnish that. I'm glad they're still staying honorable to it, and I think that they did handle it very well. I
Yeah.
do.
You gotta understand, it was very because obviously when Chadwick passed away, it was obviously as fans we were shocked. But you gotta keep in mind that the cast and crew as well, actors, they knew him a lot more than me and you ever did. We were just fans of his work, but they were
Mhm.
friends, they were co-workers. Some of them had grown up together, so it was really difficult for those circumstances to be like, okay, let's just get another actor in. Like that would have been a bit distasteful, and it's like it's not
I'm glad they
easier.
didn't do that.
But I think the way they've done it was, we passed the mantle on to Shuri now. Because I imagine if Chadwick hadn't passed away, it would have still been Black Panther 2, with
Mhm.
Chadwick still as, Black Panther. But I think what they did was we needed to find some workaround while also being respectful of Chadwick, and I think they did it perfectly. That tribute to him. Even now to this day, I still tear up seeing that tribute because it's
It's
not just the
so
character.
sad, man.
It's not just the
One
character,
of the
but the
best
actor.
actors with the most potential and shown as one of the greatest icons, I think, in the MCU. He was like one of the biggest inspiration for a lot of people, I believe. And his performance was just so amazing that right now I don't blame them for being so hesitant with continuing with T'Challa's character, but I am just so glad that they honored him the way that they did in Black Panther 2, and I hope that they can still carry that over for Black Panther 3. Still making it clear that this isn't a replacement T'Challa, but that this is someone who is trying to deal
Carrying
with
the
the fact that
legacy.
carrying the legacy of T'Challa Senior, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I think
yeah,
this is the best way around it. Like I said, again, recast, it would have been very difficult to do because obviously the cast is so close, and it's like it would have been weird if they. I know some people are like, "Oh, why don't you just recast him?" But you gotta say, imagine they were filming Black Panther 2 with like T'Challa, but it's a brand new actor. It felt weird. Like even though your
it would
old
have felt
actors
so
are all,
wrong.
yeah, but I think, like I said, David Johnson, I think he's a terrific actor. I think he's going to do a fantastic job, not only carrying the legacy of Black Panther, but obviously, except because it's T'Challa's son, carrying the legacy of the original T'Challa. Again, we're going to have to wait and see how it all works out, because there obviously has to be some kind of time jump between where we saw him at the end of uh, uh, Black Panther 2 to Black Panther 3. It's going to
Mhm.
be interesting to see, but we don't really know anything about it other than we're going to get a new Black
They
Panther.
just announced it, so we know practically nothing other than David
No.
Johnson is playing and Ryan Coogler is still directing.
I hope that it's still tasteful for Shuri though as well. Because keep in mind, she had to, not only the character but also the actress had to step up for Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
That
She had a lot of shoes to fill, and she had to find a way to continue the arc of Black Panther while also trying to carry Chadwick's legacy. And honestly, I will say I think she did an amazing job in Black Panther 2. And I do have high hopes for her character in all the other projects leading up to Black Panther 3.
I hope that when we get Black Panther 3, I wouldn't mind if like, because we've shown that in the Marvel you can have multiple characters carry the same title, especially like in comic books as well. We've had like God knows how many Spider-Men. We've had like 50,000 of them by now. So I really hope in the movie it's not like Shuri flat out stops being Black Panther. I think we'll hopefully have two Black Panthers, but T'Challa or T'Challa's son will be like the main Black Panther, and Shuri will still be there. She'll still show up in like future Marvel projects. So I think
Yeah.
she's still good enough as a Black Panther to still. I don't want to just be like, okay, let's just now pass the mantle from her to him. Like,
Mhm.
do it honorably. Have him like honor, like, have him become the new Black Panther, but still keep Shuri as a Black Panther as well.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'm always done tastefully. You know, I don't just be like, oh well, thanks for stepping up, Shuri,
I, I,
but
I hope
we
I
pass
hope
it.
they don't try to overstep boundaries, but I do hope that they find a way to continue to honor this legacy of Black Panther. Because at this rate, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, this character has become such a important mantle to pass on to certain people. And it's going to be, I will be honest, a lot of pressure on David Johnson because of the fact that, the reason it was so easy to move from T'Challa to Shuri is because Shuri has already made her presence known in the films. It's going to be a little bit harder for David Johnson because the only presence he's had in the films is when his character was younger, played by someone else, introduced at the very end of Wakanda Forever. So
Yeah.
they really need to work hard to find a way to make it make sense, to make it proper and honorable for David to take up the mantle, which I fully believe in the ability of Ryan Coogler to do that. I fully
It,
believe he can.
Obviously, again, we don't know anything about the film. We can only guess right now. We're still like 2 years away from seeing this film in cinemas. If I had to
Mm-hmm.
guess, I feel like the film will be like T'Challa's son. You know, I know I keep calling him T'Challa's son, but just so it's easier to know who I'm talking about, so you don't get confused with the original T'Challa for the listeners. It won't surprise me if the film was him wondering if he's worthy to step up to his father's success. By the end of the film, he is embraced the Black Panther title.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously I could be wrong. We don't
Did
know.
they did
I
they ever
have
say did they ever say in Wakanda Forever that the kid has met his father?
oh god, I can't remember.
Because this plot line could revolve around him trying to fill the shoes of his father, who he never met. So he's gonna be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I really hope I can live up to his legacy, even though I don't know what the legacy was about. But I believe in the power of their storytelling, and I believe that they can pull it off. I have
I have faith.
such high hopes and high expectations for this film.
I have faith that they will do something that is excellent, fantastic, action packed, very emotional. Just I know they're going to deliver on this.
Moving on from Marvel to DC. The DC panel was way more, less interesting.
Yeah. Well, we still got
at least
something that we didn't
when it
expect.
comes to the films.
Yeah, but we do got some things with the films because we did predict that we were going to get a new Lanterns trailer at Comic-Con, and sure enough, we did.
We got it before.
Did we get it before? Was it before? Or was it during? Because I think
It was
Comic-Con started Thursday, and then
did it start Thursday?
I think it started Thursday. I think it was like the first day because they had the panel as well.
Hold on, I'm just looking it up. That way I know the time frame.
Because I think it was from Thursday to Sunday, and the trailer came out on Thursday, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it officially started on Thursday, July 23rd. I did not know that. Whoops. I was gonna say they dropped it before him, which was weird, but now I'm wrong, so I take it back.
Yeah.
But I will say I'm still somewhat disappointed on the film side of things with how they did it. The lanterns, panel was pretty fun. I won't lie. The trailer and all, it was cool and everything. It looks good. My hope is restored for this film. I just can't get it out of my head that the Hal Jordan actor fucked up the oath in front of the entire audience. Obviously, Nathan Fillion, who's voiced Hal Jordan in so many different DC media, he's like the Hal Jordan voice. He got it flawlessly. The Jon Stewart actor, who we know is in it for the long run, did it flawlessly. Hal Jordan's actor couldn't. He couldn't just memorize it that easily. You mean to tell me they didn't get him to say the oath 40,000 times before actually playing the character? Are you fucking kidding me? I don't know. It's just it has my mind in a twist, but it's just like one of the most embarrassing things that you can do as the Green Lantern actor is fuck up the oath in front of everybody.
I am gonna quickly throw as a bit of a disclaimer because I think people need to know this if they're first time listeners. Cooper here has grown up with DC. He's like been a DC guy since a kid. Yeah. I meanwhile have only been to DC for the past year. I was mainly a Marvel kid growing up. It's only been the past year I've grown up with side getting really more into DC. So a lot of the DC stuff is like brand new territory. I have jumped in headfirst into the DC, and you know this better than anyone. I'm always buying new DC comics, looking more into DC films, playing
I'm the one. I put this motherfucker on.
I'm pretty sure David Cornsweat put me on to the.
Well, I told you to watch. I told you to watch this movie.
I was going to see Superman regardless.
I know, but I'm the one that told you about this character, and I told you that this is probably
fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll put you on. I'm
gonna take
all the credit. No, I'm kidding. But, you were going to get into it anyway. I feel.
Yeah. It was like I was always going to get into it regardless. But I would make that clear because watching the Lanterns trailer, I'm not really familiar with the entire history of the Lanterns. I didn't even see the god awful Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern when that came out in 2011. Don't feel like I missed out on much though.
Don't. Don't. It's
horrible.
Can I say, it's fucking terrible.
Can I say funny story? I was in a secondhand like a media store, and they had some comic books. I saw one Green Lantern comic, and I was like, oh, I should probably pick it up because the comic's quite cheap. I thought I'll pick it up since I'm getting more in DC, and I know you really like the Green Lanterns. Maybe I should give it a try. I pulled it off the shelf. The cover was the live action movie, and I immediately put it back. I was like,
that's my boy. That's my boy.
If I'm going to get into the Green Lantern comics, I don't think this would be the best start for it.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Green Lantern movie is miles worse than even Man of Steel. Holy fuck, that movie is horrible. Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I wanted to throw a disclaimer out there while we're talking about the Lanterns. Like, I'm not familiar with the history, so
But
You're
I
probably
am.
going to you're going to explain some stuff to me. But can I say my overall thoughts? I was probably going to check out the series anyway. I thought when I saw the first trailer, I thought, "Oh, this is interesting." When I saw this trailer, I was like, "This actually looks way more
Yeah,
exciting."
I will say, since we're just on the topic of lanterns as a whole, I want to mention big Green Lantern fan. Always have been, always will be. I'm one of the few. I'm one of the proud. Uh, and with this show, I've been very hit or miss. I first saw the Lanterns trailer, the first one, when I was in Chicago with a couple of friends. I was like, "Oh, hell yeah! I'm so excited for this. I've been waiting for this show for a while." And then I watched the trailer. I was not happy. I was like, "This looks like the blandest shit ever. I am so underwhelmed." But then they dropped this trailer. Oh boy. After a lot of time of, hearing people who worked on the film go, "Well, we can all agree that the green is stupid." And then I watched this trailer. The suit doesn't look brown anymore. The green is plastered everywhere. Motherfucker, they reworked the show. They turned that green up so much. They showed off Sinestro. They showed off more of the rings. They showed off more of the actual power lanterns that they charge the rings with. They said the oath. Dude, how do we live in a world where the second trailer is better than the first? How does that happen? How do you manage it? Oh, my hype is so back for this show. It is so back. I am so excited. I feel like we could potentially have something good here. We could.
Like I said, I'm not familiar with the Lantern, so I was going to see this show regardless. And because I don't have the history of reading the comics, I couldn't say, "Oh, this is good and this is bad." I can really tell you from watching this, like, yeah, it's going to be better than the Ryan Reynolds movie. That's all I could really know. But obviously, with the history of these characters, new territory for me. This is going to be my first time really getting to experience Lanterns and Green Lanterns as a whole. Obviously, I
Yeah.
guarantee by the time the show comes out, which is next month, isn't it? August, isn't it?
Yeah,
August.
it's coming out very soon. It's almost
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So typically with me, I'll say when often shows and movies come out, I'm like, I'm not familiar with that character. I tend to then pick up comics around the time the show comes out. And it's coming
Yeah.
out. Do you know it's August? What, the 14th or
I
something? In
think
it,
it's the 16th.
16th.
I could be wrong.
I know it's sometime. I know
Sorry.
it's sometime in the middle of August. But what's interesting is
Let me
on
tell you.
okay. Well, I will say this on August the 8th, I am going to Comic-Con Wales, and it's something I'm really looking forward to. And I guarantee while I'm there, there'll be a bunch of comic books. And because this
Yeah.
is coming out around about the same time as Green Lanterns, I'll probably end up looking for Green Lantern comic books at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I
And it
do
comes
own
out
one.
the 16th, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, so like what, like 8 days later. So
In like 2 weeks.
yeah.
Two and a half weeks.
So like
Around the
I
same
think
time
it's
I think
perfect
you said you were gone.
perfect timing for me. But I thought the trailer looked really good. Is it like, again, it's hard for me to talk about because I don't know the full history, but Hal Jordan is teaching or like holding the ring. How do I explain it in a way that doesn't make me look like a right idiot on the internet? I really do look like a right idiot on the internet, but like, do you sense some kind of like training, but also kind of bit of a rivalry between Hal Jordan and what's his name? The character.
Jon Stewart.
Thank you. I was
So
like,
what I believe is happening here, and this is what I've been able to gather from the trailers. Hal, I believe, was selected to teach Jon Stewart, who I'm guessing the Guardians selected as their next Green Lantern of Sector. Fuck, I know this. Sector. Whatever. Sector of Earth. They selected Jon Stewart finally, and they sent Hal to do it. And Jon Stewart, I believe, in this project is going to be like, "I'm going to work hard to be better than this asshole." So he really wants to prove to himself, and I think to Hal and the Guardians, that he fits this role. So big shoes to fill. But also, I'm going to be really bummed with the way that I believe that they're handling Hal Jordan.
Do you think like Hal Jordan, even though he's going to be teaching John, do you feel like the sense of he doesn't want to let go of the ring or pass that mantle over? You get that
Maybe
sense of
I
that?
mean Hal Jordan has been known to be slightly cocky, slightly. You know, he's the member of the group that will um just full on, you know, be kind of brutally honest with the team. I'm gonna probably show you some projects, but you know, in the animated film Justice League War, Green Lantern is one of the prominent characters in there. You know, he's kind of cocky. I'm guessing that's probably the direction they're going with it, you know, based on the New 52 run of Hal Jordan, which, you know, I don't really have a problem with. I just, you know, I just hope that they don't do a full character assassination with the character. But
You
I
want
do
to see
still have
Hal
hope.
Jordan? You want to see Hal Jordan
I
a bit
want to
for
see Hal
longer?
Jordan. I don't want to see, you know, someone who's not Hal Jordan saying that they're Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
So
What
we'll
is
see.
interesting is because John Stewart he's appearing in Man of Tomorrow coming out next year, the next Superman film. But I don't think Hal Jordan isn't, unless I've missed something.
Yeah. In Man of the Tomorrow, or in Man of Tomorrow, we're only, I think, you might see Guy Gardner. I don't fully know, but we're for sure seeing John Stewart. I think we're just going to see the Justice Society again, on top of John Stewart and Blue Beetle.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, you mentioned now, because again, it's all new territory. I don't know the full history. Like I said, you'll have to put me onto some films, some comic books to, you know, help guide me basically into
I got
this
you.
new era. But if you said like Hal Jordan, obviously Guy Gardner is like kind of like the asshole Green Lantern. If am I right in saying?
He's
Is
like the
that
big dumb idiot
yeah?
of the Lanterns that thinks he's better than everyone, but is really the biggest joke out of the entire Green Lantern group.
And then
Um, and
Hal
that's
Stewart,
fine. And they did it really well in Superman. And he's also appearing in this show, which I'm kind of excited to see what he
yeah,
does.
and Hal Jordan is more like kind of cocky, but not like Guy Gardner
He's cocky
levels.
but
But
respectable enough to, yeah, like he's cocky but respectable enough to feel like he's right for the role of Green Lantern and as Guardian of Earth. So he's still, you know, he still kind of has the tiniest bit of an ego, I think, but he can do so much good. Until they did a whole character assassination in the comics where, you know, they turned him evil, they made him kill all the Guardians, do full genocide, turn into Parallax, whole fucking character assassination arc there. But Parallax actually could be kind of cool to see. But
it
I
is.
don't think we're going to do it.
I should point out as well, like from what we gather from the trailer and from the first trailer as well, it's Hal Jordan has already been the same way when we had Superman last year. Superman, Buzz Ray Superman. It wasn't an origin. In this show, where it looks like Hal Jordan is already Green Lantern. He's been established since John Stewart was a
Mhm.
kid, and this is gonna be more the origin for John Stewart becoming Green Lantern rather than
This is
Hal.
a John Stewart origin, yes.
Yeah,
But it's a way to catch the viewers up on who the Green Lanterns are. And they're establishing this time that Hal Jordan was already a Green Lantern and was already around. I'm guessing longer than Superman even was.
yeah.
So,
Well, it does seem
yeah.
like from a flashback, I think in the first trailer, not the new trailer came out the Comic-Con, that there was like a clip where John Stewart was a kid watching Hal Jordan on the TV. Now I don't know how old John Stewart is in this. I don't know if he's like in his late 20s, maybe even early
I'm
30s.
guessing
But it does seem
30s.
like but it does seem like Hal Jordan has been the Green Lantern for a very long time, and obviously now maybe I'm not saying old age or whatever. I don't want to be disrespectful like the actor or anything, but it's like hey, we need to pass the mantle on to the next guy. As even in the trailer, John Stewart is at like a bar or something. I almost said pub, very British of me. He's at a bar
He's
talking
at a
to a
pub, innit?
lady. Yeah, he's in a pub, innit? He's in a tricky pint to the pub, watch the football. No,
Taking a
he's in
pint
a
of
bar.
Guinness while kicking his feet up at the old pub, Eddie. That's a mix of Canadian there, wasn't there?
Yeah, you threw it. I was like, the A threw me, and like, Force, if you ever come to the UK, do you never speak like that? You will get stabbed.
Just making me want to do it even more.
but like he's speaking to this woman. I don't know who the lady character is. Probably some I don't know if she's a supporting character or a minor character. You'll have to guide me in the future, or when
Might be
the
a
show
supporting
comes
character.
out. But she's like, John Stewart's been like, I'm a, like the backup quarterback or something. Like he says that kind of line or something like that for like American football terminology. I'm not familiar with. I don't watch American football, but like he's like the backup to Hal Jordan, but then it's gonna feel like
Mhm.
pass the mantle on from Hal Jordan to then John Stewart
There,
in this.
I think the goal is to make John Stewart more of a sidekick to Hal, but John wants to be his own person and he wants to do his own good. So I think that's what a lot of this, some animosity towards each other is going to be. Is going to be, I want to be more than what you're training me to be. I want to learn all of these ways, but the way that you're teaching me isn't working. So we're definitely going to see a feud, but I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about it because John's going to learn his ways. He's going to get the oath. He's going to figure it out. We're going to see something good out of it. So
I'm gonna mention this.
Regardless of whether the character writing works out or not, I fully believe in, the ability of Jon Stewart's character to do something good. But I still have a couple speculations with this show. But I can't wait at the same
Where
time.
where I felt like the rivalry was coming from was the scene in the trailer where he said that John Stewart says to someone, "The ring has always been mine. Hal Jordan's just been holding it." So like there's that line in the trailer, so he might believe that he's more deserving of the ring than Hal Jordan is in this. That
Maybe
he says that
it
line. I don't know
it,
who
it,
he's
can, it
saying
can
it
come
to.
off that way, I think, and it could totally be how it is. But we'll see. I honestly, we don't know that much about these characters. I can't come out and say, oh, they're probably doing this with the character, probably doing this with the character. I think we're gonna be. I think regardless, we're gonna be fine. At worst, this is a horrible show, but at best, this is a pretty decent show. I think. If
Either
I'm being
way,
honest.
I'm excited for this again. New
Same.
territory for me. I'm hoping it really is a good adaptation, not just for your sake, but for my sake as well. Because I want it to be good because you're a big Green Lanterns fan, and so I hope it's good for you and for other Green Lanterns fans. But also, it's good for me because if this is my introduction to the Green Lanterns and these characters as a whole, well, I'm not a complete introduction because I'm familiar now with Guy Gardner thanks to Superman. I know there was a terrible Ryan Reynolds movie that I'm never going to see, but
Don't.
I I hope that this is good. That when I see it, I'm like, hey, this is a good introduction for me. For me to be like, oh, this is good enough for. There might be some other new people who might be seeing this for the first time with the Lanterns, and I hope it's a good enough experience for them that this is a good way into knowing who these characters are. They haven't butchered the characters. They haven't character assassinated, like you said. That I know who these characters are straight up from the comics to the live action.
I will say it's weird to me because Guy Gardner is just like Guy Gardner, but Hal Jordan in this is kind of Hal Jordan, at least from what I've seen. But I'm regardless. Can't wait. Can't wait because I've been wanting some Green Lantern media, some good Green Lantern media in a while, and I hope that this is it.
I'm going to say this was announced at San Diego Comic Con, but there was another DC trailer that dropped very recently, and we do want to talk about it. We'll throw it in now. The Clayface official trailer dropped.
The official Clayface trailer was dropped. Yes, motherfucker, that shit looked good.
Oh, it does.
That shit actually looks properly terrifying. I am so glad that they're not gonna do something that other companies have been doing and making it seem like a character can be redeemable or well, the character can be redeemable, don't get me wrong. But they're not making it seem like he's more of an anti-hero. Just like we did with Black Adam, just like we did with Venom. Clayface, with the way that they're setting up in the trailers, is so obviously going to be the villain, but
I
also be the
am
protagonist at the same time.
I am very excited by this, only because not because again getting more and more in DC. This is going to be more Clayface for me to have a look at, but also this DC project is coming out in October. This is going to be very different from any other superhero movie that we're getting this year because this film's going to be very much leaning into the horror aspect. So it's going to be different from Supergirl, Spider-Man, and Doomsday. This is going to be something completely different, a breath of fresh air. Even though I'm not the biggest horror movie guy, you notice I don't really go for horror movies.
I
I'm still
definitely
really
am.
excited. I'm still very excited to see this. I think it's going to be enough that I'm going to be intrigued, but also going to be wincing. We did talk about this when the trailer dropped off camera, but we're going to mention now for the viewers listening. Obviously, the scene where he's going to have to cut the clay with the scissors on the airplane while the turbulence is happening.
Oh, that's
I
gonna be
know.
such a hard to watch scene. I can already
Oh,
tell.
I
Fucking cutting
know.
into his eyelids, trying to get them separated. Ugh.
I'm
But
already like I've said. I don't watch a lot of horror movies. In fact, the only horror movies I really like are the Final Destination movies. And I've said anything with eyes is like a big no for me. I can't watch. So I know when I'm in cinemas watching this, I'm gonna be like covering my face, like peeking through my fingers, trying to watch that scene because it's gonna be. I know he's probably not gonna get his Kai cut open. It's just trying to be one of those intense scenes, but still, it's gonna be like, oh god, he's so close. I can't. I can't watch it.
it's so interesting because it's our first film, because I don't think this is their first time doing a superhero genre horror movie. I think they've
No.
done it before, but it's definitely their first attempt at doing a body horror thing with one of the more monster-like characters in the DC universe, or I guess in either the universe, because we didn't really see it with Marvel either. So it's got me very intrigued, and it's kind of what I'd want to see from like a solo project of any kind with these characters. And I'm just glad that they're doing it with Clayface, because Clayface has not been getting the media he deserves. Clayface has always been one of the most vital characters to Batman that we never really get to see in some big fashion. He's in some TV shows, never live action, but in primarily animated things, because well, I mean, let's be fair, he's hard to do in live action.
Yeah.
But I am very, very, very intrigued with what they do with this. I like how this is also going to set up Gotham for the first time in the universe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm primarily excited for, more than just Clayface's inclusion. But, you know, it's still, I am, okay, I'll be honest. I'm getting a little bit more skeptical with James Gunn's DC at the moment, just because of his format. It's weird that we're getting a Clayface trailer or a Clayface movie before we're getting anything regarding Batman. Very strange. But I do think it's important to establish Gotham at the same time. So that way, when Batman gets introduced to us, it makes sense why he's needed. Yeah. So on two ends of the spectrum, I'm like, why? But I'm also like, oh, it's like, I think skepticism is very important for something like this.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to push the direction in the right, in the right way. So, yeah.
I'm going to say that I'm really glad that from this trailer, Gotham looks very dirty, very like dark and gritty.
Gotham looks like Gotham does. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like I said, I didn't grow up like a lot of DC like you did, but I have seen like the Batman films, obviously with the Batman with Robert Pattinson. I've seen some of the old Batman stuff as well, like Christian Bale and some other stuff as well, and some old not cartoons, but like some old comic books. I haven't getting more into the Batman. In my head, whenever I thought of Gotham, I've always thought of it as dark, dirty, gritty. Like the complete opposite to Metropolis or Superman. I've always saw Metropolis as bright and colourful. Gotham, dark and gritty. And this trailer is pulling off those vibes, you know? It does feel dark. It does feel dirty. Like, not the type of place you would want to, live in. And I think maybe
it seemed like
a horror
the lowest
aspect.
of lows of places that you would ever want to be in. But at the same time, that's exactly what Gotham is. Gotham feels like that kind of place that you would only move to if it was like a last resort. Because it is like, I think, the most crime-ridden place in the US in the DC universe. But at the same time, it's also one of the most important, because a lot of stuff that has to do with the universe stems from Gotham. So just the inclusion and the buildup that they're going to probably do for this city in this film is very important to me. So I hope that they can truly give us Gotham City in the best light and in the best way possible. More so than anything else we've seen. Because we know that DC knows what they're doing with Gotham at this point, based on what we saw with the Batman. I can't wait to see a version of it, though, that is more like the comics. that is like strictly ripped out of the page what Gotham is. Because Gotham isn't entirely dark. It's primarily dark. There is a little bit of color in it though.
Yeah.
A little bit. In other universes, we don't get that color. We just get the dark with a little bit of subtle lighting. In this, we're definitely getting a lot more lighting in what Gotham will look like. So this is already leaning in the direction of, I think the most important, basically more of the story. I think the most important part about this film is going to be Gotham. Gotham itself is going to be the most important setup for this film, which is right. But I think they're also going to tell a really good, horrifying story about Clayface at the same time, which is going to be cool.
I want to say, you mentioned earlier how it's kind of difficult to do Clayface in live action because he's like this big clay monster. Now, we haven't had the full look of how it's going to look in the live action movie. They kind of kept it to, you see a little silhouette of it and in the background, but you haven't seen the full look of it. But I will say, the horror aspects, the clay look, like we've seen with the punches and that, it looks incredible. Like, I have to say,
him wiping his face away, his face like getting all melted and deformed.
When he gets punched as well,
specific parts of his body, like his eyelids getting like blended together because he's like rubbing his eye or something. It's like, okay, that's cool, right? Like, that's just cool.
It looks incredible, especially like the shot where like it looks like he gets punched, but like his jaw and that like all like melts in the trailer. It looks incredible. I'm just hoping then, like, I know what Clayface looks like in the big monstrous form. I've seen many adaptations of it through like different medias and that, but it's gonna be interesting to see how it's pulled off in live action. If it will look good or kind of look cheap CGI. I'm always not gonna be like cheap CGI. If they can pull off the the clay look with him being punched and the body horror, especially the scene in the bathtub as well, I have faith in that.
Yeah, and honestly, it just, the direction of this film is going to be pretty cool because, like I said at the beginning, I'm so glad that Clayface is so clearly going to be a villain by the end of this. He's not going to be on, oh, I want to do some good, but I'm also very mad at myself. He is fucking over it all, clearly. It's like, what do I need to do for this city that it's already done for me? It's earned none of my respect. I am a monster of some kind, blah, blah, blah. I will burn this city to the ground. Basic villain shit, and that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for a character like Clayface. Because that's Clayface.
Yeah.
Simply put,
I'm gonna ask this question to you now. Obviously, this is set in Gotham. I don't obviously expect to see Batman, but do you think we'll get any kind of reference to Batman in this?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, we might see Batman. There's a chance. I don't think it's their way of announcing the character, but I think we're going to see at least like a headline or something on like a big screen, or we're going to see the bat signal, because we know Batman exists in the universe based on Creature Commandos. Yeah. He made a technical cameo with a little silhouette of him. But maybe, and this is the biggest maybe ever, maybe the film ends with Batman dropping down and beating the fuck out of Clayface, as like in like a very scary way. Like, we're sitting with Clayface and he is afraid of whatever the fuck is in the shadows, Batman. So we're gonna see Batman as a horror movie character if that's what they're gonna do. But that is a huge if. That is a huge if.
Speaking of ifs, then, and because I think it's probably that we'd mention this now because we were kind of talking about Gotham and Batman. For those of you unaware, at San Diego Comic-Con, there was the Reacher panel as well, and Alan Ritchson was there at the panel, and he's been kind of fan cast to be Batman for a little while.
He's been like the main cast in everyone's heads.
Now, someone must have asked him a question about Batman, because I can't remember the exact quote, but he was saying, like, never say never, but he said he doesn't think he'll play Batman because he has having conversations with DC to play another character in the universe. Now, I know Alan Ritchson is no stranger to playing DC characters. He was Aquaman in Smallville. He was
Hawk in Titans. Terrible show, by the way.
I haven't seen it, so I can't be the judge of that, but he was in that as well. So he's no stranger to DC. He clearly loves DC and working with them. So if Alan Ritchson is the joiner of DC, and he is having talks with being a new character that isn't Batman, who do you think he could be playing? Like, who do you think when you see him, who do you think he could play in a new DC universe?
I have a couple of weird ideas. One of them, I don't think he will be, but I think Bane could be cool just because of how fucking huge Alan Ritchson is.
Yeah.
He's massive individual. So Bane could make sense. Maybe he could play Killer Croc. I think he might still be used in like the Batman side of things, but if he's not, we know Hawk Girl exists. What if he's Hawkman? Or
maybe
Captain Atom,
Mm.
et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of characters he could be. I'd just be cool to see him in the universe. I don't really care what character he plays. I think he'd just be a cool inclusion, frankly.
I know he's played Aquaman once, like many years ago in Smallville. I know that.
I don't think
do you
he
think
could
he
do it
could?
now.
You don't think he can do it now? You think that'd be a new?
I think he's too big. I think honestly, we already saw the crazy ripped, super cool Aquaman in the Jason Momoa movies.
Yeah.
I'd like to see one that's more blonde hair, kind of skinny, very regular build Aquaman that, looks more like he's fit to rule a kingdom, and not one that's like, oh, I'm cool. I'm supposed to be this really badass fucking ripping heads off of people, flexing my way to victory kind of character. I'd like to see Aquaman who's, really struggling, with the fact that, his father's dead. He's never met his mother, stuff like that. Having that be a primary aspect of it. And when he gets brought to Atlantis for the first time, he's like, whoa, I got some big shoes to fill, stuff like that. So
you don't think it should be? You don't think it's going to be Alan?
I don't think he'd even want to play Aquaman again.
Because you already played it once.
Because he's already done it for Smallville, and he looked more like Aquaman then. He did, and I didn't see his performance because I actually didn't watch Smallville, but he looked like Aquaman, and it looked like some good ass casting at the time. I think he's just a little bit too large now.
Like he's properly shredded.
He's properly too bulked. I think I'd rather see him as Hawkman.
Can I just say I just thought it was really funny. I mentioned this now. Obviously, in Fast and Furious 10, they had Jason Momoa play the big villain of the film, and then they had Alan Ritchson, who you think is a cop working with Dom and his team, and then he's like a twist villain. He's working with Jason Momoa. I just thought it was really funny that in Fast 10, the two main villains are both Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was like a really funny little thing.
Because I was actually in theaters in Fast X Part 1. So kind of funny. Kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. It's like Aquaman and Aquaman are meeting, or they're going to make out. Who knows?
I have no idea. I'm still, like I said, there's like probably plenty of characters he could play, but I am excited to see who he could play because he clearly cares about DC, about these characters. He's very because you wouldn't play not one but two characters in two different DC universe and two complete different DC projects if you didn't care, and you certainly wouldn't be having conversations with them if you didn't want to do it again. So I'm excited to see it, and honestly, while I might not know the character, I'm just gonna say no. He might make a good Wonder Woman. Get the wig on him. Get the wig on him. Give him the lasso of truth.
Get the wig on him. Give him a really tiny skirt.
Absolutely. Absolute cinema. Take all my money now. I want to see it happen. But look, it wasn't just movies and all that. There was some gaming stuff as well. A game that we both really enjoyed last year was Dispatch. Now, they did have a panel. I haven't yet seen the Dispatch panel. I know you have. I know you want to talk it. So, Force, take it away, please.
So, it's really funny how they handle this. They didn't announce anything at all during the Dispatch panel. It was just kind of like a cool hangout, talk about shit, go over some stuff, some fun stories that they had while making the game. They had all of the cast there in a way, Jacksepticeye and Moist Critical, they couldn't show up physically, unfortunately, but they did call remotely. And one thing that's really funny for Moist Critical, because Sean, Jacksepticeye, he showed up with video in a full punch-up costume. Full punch-up, cosplay pretty much. and he was joining remotely. Moist Critical did too, but it's harder to cosplay Sonar, especially at home. So they had him join remotely. He didn't have his video on, but they had someone walk in who was exact build as Sonar with a Sonar like perfect molded head on top. He looked exactly like Sonar. It is so fucking funny seeing this guy just walk in. And as Charlie's talking, at any point, he's moving his hands and he's moving like he is talking like Charlie. And it's just fucking hilarious.
I will say,
Because at one point he goes, "Oh, watch this, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and do some push-ups for you guys right now. I'm gonna do 30,000 push-ups right here." And the guy's like, and then he stands up and he just starts doing them.
I haven't seen the full panel. I'm gonna go watch it because I love Dispatch. It was one of my favorite games last year, so I will sit down and watch the full panel. I just haven't had time at the moment because I've been so busy with video editing and trying to keep up with all the news and announcements. But I will definitely watch it. But I did see the clip of like, I honestly got because I saw the clip of like the Sonar costume. It looks incredible. I genuinely did think it was Moist Critical just because of how well they pulled it off. But obviously, when you see the full panel, you understand it's not the same guy. By the way, just a quick mention, another game that was at San Diego Comic-Con, a game I'm most looking forward to coming out in 2 months, Control Resonant, had a panel. I'll also be checking that out as well. I don't know what was said, but they had some of the actors.
I don't know what that is.
It's a video game I'm very excited for. And I did not a bit of cheeky promotion, but if you are listening to the podcast, go over to my YouTube channel, Everyday Geek, and you can see that I've done a full Let's Play on the first Control game. And I will definitely be doing a Let's Play on the second Control game, Control Resonant, when that comes out in September. Because you know me, I love my Let's Plays. But that also had a panel at Comic-Con. I'll be watching that as well. Moving away from that, there was some comic book stuff and some toy stuff that I just want to mention, if that is okay with you, folks, because I know you
sure.
I know
we got some really cool stuff out.
Yeah, I know you really like your comic books, but I really love my comic books. I love collecting comic books.
You are I like to think I'm a big comic fan. Not anywhere close to you. You are the comic guy on the pod. You
absolutely
are the comic book guy. So just to list out a lot of the stuff that they announced, just based off of what I saw that they dropped, a new Static series that they announced. They're, that's coming out. Pretty cool. Static's a really fun character. Some new Absolute Universe stuff.
Our first look of Absolute Cyborg and Absolute Cheetah that was shown. They also announced Absolute Deluxe editions of Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, and Absolute Batman that I believe are coming out in 2027. So still a bit of way off to go yet. But I will be checking those out, especially I'm getting more and more to DC. I've been building a small collection. Well, I say small, it's starting to grow a bit more now. But I'm really, really excited.
That's what Cheetah looks like?
Yes, they did a revealer. You are absolutely stunned.
Oh my god. I didn't look at the designs yet. I just knew that they announced it. Holy shit. That's fucking terrifying. What does Cyborg look like?
Cyborg is...
Listeners, you're seeing my first reaction to this. Oh, whoa. Okay, that's not at all what I was expecting. So Cyborg only has the eye and an arm. He has the rest of his body, though. The rest of his body is just it's
not like the full-on Cyborg look, but I think something that will fit more with the Absolute universe that we're going on. But that was some of the DC stuff. For me, Marvel, 2 things really interest me. There was some other stuff announced that didn't particularly, like a new Mary Jane series, was like, yeah, it's cool, I'll probably check it out, but I'm not excited about that. But 2 things that really did excite me was they announced a brand new Indiana Jones series coming out, I think, this November or December. I grew up with the Indiana Jones film, especially the original trilogy. I absolutely love those. So the fact we're getting a new comic book series now, kind of set around that time period of when those films, where Indy was much younger. I am very, very excited about that. We also got our first look at I say first look, but a more closer look at the Midnight Universe, which is going to be a much more darker horror Marvel universe. We're going to have Midnight Spider-Man, Midnight Fantastic Four, and Midnight X-Men. I think they revealed just the second issue panel covers. They haven't revealed a whole lot. Obviously, those are coming out later in the year.
I
But
haven't actually seen too much about the Midnight Universe, but from what you've just told me, that actually sounds really fucking cool.
it's gonna be really fun, especially
An upcoming dark supernatural horror comic book imprint from Marvel Comics, launching October. Ooh,
so
it's close.
October is gonna be a great horror time to be like a comic book fan. You know what's interesting is that even though I'm not a horror movie guy, I do love like horror comics, and I will talk a bit more about horror comics in a little bit because there was something else that was discussed and announced I do want to discuss. But sticking more with Marvel, moving away from just what Marvel said, but they also announced new webtoon series. Now, I haven't read a whole lot of webtoon stuff. In fact, the only webtoon stuff that I have read recently was some of the Red Hood and the Outlaw stuff, because that was the first series I saw trying to get into more Red Hood stuff, because I know Forcia is a big Red Hood fan, and obviously I was looking for Red Hood
I
stuff.
told you to start reading the Red Hood Outlaw stuff because that stuff is prime Red Hood media right there. Like that is like it's like the Dark Trinity of stuff.
And that's why I picked up the webtoon series, because it was Red Hood and the Outlaws. I was like, oh, I'll pick it up. I've got all 5 books now. Really enjoying it.
You got all 5?
Yeah, but I'll also be looking to more the actual DC comic side of the other Red Hood comics. I know there was some stuff some stuff came out my feed, on my Instagram feed recently, of some Red Hood stuff that looks really interesting. Obviously some older stuff that I can't wait to get my hands on and catch up on. But they did have some Marvel announcements, so I'll just quickly talk through the 3 that were announced. Obviously, one of them was a webtoon series called Tony's Girl, which is going to be more like a 17-year-old Tony Stark, and he's going to be developing a romance with the daughter of his father's business rivals. It's kind of like a Romeo Juliet,
I did not know about this. No. What the hell?
I've been keeping up with it, so it's going to be a much more younger playboy Tony Stark. It's going to be quite interesting to read. I'll probably check it out. We had X-Men Korea as well. That was announced, where we're going to follow in a high school student who awakens to find he has like mutant powers. He's going to be rolling in a academy for the gifted, mutants, and he's going to be uncovering a conspiracy theory. There's not a whole lot. There's only like a small description.
School? Is it the X-Men School, or is it just a different one?
I hope I'm going to butcher this. I'm sorry. It's like Hosoka Academy. I'm open. Keep in mind, this is going to be X-Men Korea. It's going to be set in Korea, so it's going to be,
Oh, Korea. Oh, I thought you were saying career.
Oh no, Korea, as in like like North and South.
Yeah,
Korea.
like South Korea. Okay, I got it.
Sorry, my pronunciation that butchered that, but that's where it's going to be. And then finally, the one that it's going to be the most silly, going to be most fun, and has the longest title. This is the genuine title. We got a Deadpool webtoon series that's coming.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, and the title of the Deadpool series is going to be called "The Time Deadpool Fell into the Webtoon and Found the Longest Title of All Time," which is just such a Deadpool title to have.
Such a Deadpool thing.
And it's going to be Deadpool causing shenanigans in the Webtoon universe as he trying to find a way back home. So those are some of the Webtoon stuff that was announced from like the kind of collaborations with Marvel. It was a bit difficult for me to find more Marvel news, because every time I was trying to find comic book news and comic book announcements from San Diego Comic-Con, my entire Google feed, my Twitter feed, wherever else I could find information, kept redirecting me to the Marvel panel, which we discussed very much earlier. Obviously, the movies and stuff. So I was like, oh, what comic book stuff was announced? Because I was a big fan of the comic books. So it was kind of difficult. But if there are some stuff that I have missed, I do apologize. I'll have to keep looking if I miss something. But those are some of the major announcements that really caught my eye. The last thing then on the comic books, well, it technically isn't comic books, but it's to do with comic books anyway, so I'm just going to mention it now. We got updates on the Something is Killing the Children movie and animated series as part of the Slaughterverse. Now, Force, you didn't know what the Slaughterverse
I still don't know what the Slaughterverse is.
So there's a comic book series called Something is Killing the Children. It's probably one of my favorite horror book comics. It started in 2019. Still going strong. I think it's about to have its 50th issue later this year, so I'm very excited for it. I really enjoy it, but the premise of the series is that there's this monster hunter called Erica Slaughter who goes to various different towns through disappearances because there's these monsters that killing the children. But the horror twist is only children can see the monsters. The parents can't see them.
Oh, shit.
it's a very graphic horror book comics, and I love it. I've got literally, I would show you guys, but it's kind of off camera now. I got a bookshelf with some of the comic books. They have like a spin-off series called House of Slaughter, where there's like this school of monster hunters, and each book kind of follows a different monster hunters. You get the expanded universe. I'm very, very excited for this. They did give updates on
Sounds
the live.
intriguing.
It is. If you love horror and you love comic books, please go check it out. It's one of my personal favorite comic books. Not just horror comic books, but horror comic books in general. I love it. But we did get some updates on the live action movie and the animated series. The update was, let me find the information. I got it right here. They have got the screenplay announced. Sorry, the screenplay completed for the live action film. That's all done. They're just holding back on that project for a minute because they also want to release it with the animated project. And right now, for the animated project, they're working on a series Bible where, you know, you get all the information, your characters, your universe, your story, so you can then pitch it to other studios and other companies, and hoping they'll pick it up and, you know, develop the series, you know, like Netflix and all that. I think there was something that was meant to happen with Netflix a while ago, but sadly the deal fell through. So other stuff is happening. But the series Bible, sorry, is being worked on, so they can obviously pitch it other stuff. They did say that if they find a buyer that only wants the live action films, that is fine. The animated series can be shipped off to a different, you know, company. So we're getting an animated series, we're getting a live action movie on one of my favorite comic book series. So
That's pretty cool.
I am very fucking excited. And again, if there's anything you take away from this episode of the podcast, if you like horror, you like comic books, read the Something Is Killing the Children series, read the spin-off series, House of Slaughter.
I'm probably going to look that up after this. That actually sounds pretty cool.
It's a really great series. It's been out since like 2019, still going strong. Like I said, it's having its 50th issue in not too long, big milestone. So yeah, I'm very excited. It's a really cool premise. But then the final thing I just want to touch on before we wrap up this episode was some toy announcements.
Yeah.
And for those of you who may not know me personally, you know that Force knows this, but for newer listeners, I'm a big Power Ranger fan. I love Power Rangers.
Big time.
So I love obviously collecting figures. In fact, if you're watching the YouTube video, while my camera quality isn't best, you can probably see some Power Ranger stuff on my shelf behind me if you're watching the YouTube video. Sorry for the audio listeners. But we got some toy announcements, and it was some toy announcements that really interest me and really excited me because for like the longest time when it comes to Power Rangers, everything has felt like it's been centered around Mighty Morphin. Mighty Morphin toys, we had a new Mighty Morphin series come out recently, and Power Ranger fans are like, look, we get Mighty Morphin is the most recognizable, most well-known of the Power Ranger franchise compared to the last 30 years of the franchise, where there might be some... As a Power Ranger fan, I know all the series, but obviously, for the common people who don't know Power Rangers, if you mention Power Rangers, they think of Mighty Morphin. Safe to say. It's like the most recognizable brand. Yeah. And they've had like the Reignition series, which came out, which was all Mighty Morphin toys. However, Playmates has come out with some new toy announcements, with some new action figures. We don't know what they look like just yet, but they're finally doing something different that isn't Mighty Morphin, which I'm very excited. So we're going to get Power Ranger Zeo figures, which is, again, still kind of Mighty Morphin, because if you know Power Rangers...
I'll be honest, that's still kind of cool to me, because I didn't see a lot of marketing, especially nowadays, for the Zeo Rangers, which I actually love the Zeo designs. I am actually a big fan of those. So hearing about that's actually kind of cool.
The Zeo Rangers did recently get some Funkos out, which I've seen in stores. I just haven't picked them up. But Power Rangers Zeos is going to be getting a new action figure line, which again is still kind of Mighty Morphin, because the Mighty Morphin Rangers, or what the Mighty Morphin Rangers were by the end of season 3, did become the Zeo Rangers. So there is some, I guess, connection there. We're also getting a Power Rangers Wild Force series of action figures, which was the final series of the Saban era before the series was then sold to Disney. This was a series that I believe Hasbro originally started making some figures on and then completely abandoned. So the fact we're now going to get a full set of figures now for the full team, that is very cool. And the final team that was announced to be getting figures, and one of my favorite teams, because it's one of my favorite suit designs, Power Rangers Dino Thunder, is going to be getting some action figures. I'm very excited, because those are probably my favorite Power Ranger suits of all time. In fact, if I just move my head,
those suits are so fucking neat, dude.
Yeah. But again, for the YouTube viewers watching, right behind me, right here, is the Power Rangers Dino Thunder Black
Black
Ranger
Ranger.
Funko. One of my favorite suits of all time. So the fact we're getting live action, sorry, not live action, but new action figures of these suits, I cannot wait for. And hopefully next year, maybe at San Diego Comic Con. I was hoping we might get something announced this year. Doesn't seem like it, but hopefully next year or whenever, we might get an announcement of the brand new Power Rangers series, which seems to be in development with Disney. So no, not in development with Disney. It's going to be published on Disney. It's with it's not Paramount. There's a new live action Power Ranger series in the works. As a big fan of the series, I cannot wait, and hopefully then we'll get more toys in that series. So yeah, we will just have to wait and see on that. I'll just mention that at the end. Like I said, the last tail end of the pod now. But that was pretty much everything that we noticed at San Diego Comic Con. Like I said, it was a big event, so there's probably a ton of stuff that we missed. We were playing catch up. Like I said, there's probably comic book stuff that I missed. There might be some other movie stuff. Well, not movie stuff, but like other game announcements, or not game announcements, but game panels. And that I might miss being like, oh my god, they did a panel. That is so awesome. So we'll definitely be playing catch up. But hopefully you guys enjoyed San Diego Comic Con. I certainly did. Force, you definitely did as well. There was a lot of surprises.
Oh, big
that
time.
we didn't see coming. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. But anyway, Force, as always, thank you very much for joining and sitting down. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for listening. Take care, and we'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.